Boys, Plemex. Pag may ubo o hika, Plemex agad. Basta lagundi, Plemex.
Sa inyong nadango ang pinakahuring bareta, oras-oras sa DZGB.
In retrospect, I would like to believe that the Lord had actually tried to capture my heart while I was at Mass, through the songs, the readings, the homilies, receiving Jesus in the Holy Communion, and while adoring Him in the Blessed Sacrament. But I guess I was a bit slow to understand His ways, that He needed to send my professor, Father Dot, to spell it out for me when he asked straightforwardly, "Are you considering the religious life?" That to me became an aha experience. Oh, that's why the songs of the cassette album Bukas Palad seemed very real to me, as if the Lord Himself was talking to me straight from His heart. Oh, that's why I enjoyed every moment as a member of an organization or school called ASIL, especially being with children in a squatter area. Oh, that's why He has been showering me and my family with so much blessings in such a way that my heart was filled to overflowing with gratitude for Him. Allow me to quote Psalm 116, "How can I repay the Lord for all the good that He has done for me?" And I gave Him my yes. Let me end with a verse from the prophet Jeremiah. "You seduce me, Lord, and I let myself be seduced by you, my Lord."
How did the Lord capture my heart, which made me say yes? You know, it was the Lord who loved me first. He was actually the one who fell in love with me in the first place. I always believe and see my call as a gift, as a grace, that even an ordinary, simple, and unholy person like me will be chosen by Him. You can just imagine how big is the universe, and I am just one of the small creatures. Yet He has seen me. He is so great, and I am so small. And yet He cares for me. But what really captured my heart is the encounter when the Lord told me, "You are worth loving for. Kamahal-mahal ka, Car." He loves me, period. Walang dahilan, walang pamantayan. And how can I say no to that kind of love? And finally, God continuously captured my heart by showing His own heart. And there's no greater love than how much He loves.
As a child, I was raised an Agripayan, but later God allowed me to discover that I was actually baptized as a Catholic when I was a kid. I received my first communion in the Catholic Church in grade 4. That was the beginning of my journey to know Jesus more by attending the different churches' activities and reading the Bible, which led me to love Jesus more and more as I was growing up. Then I worked as an OFW in Taiwan, where I deeply felt the presence of God of surprises, who is always fully alive. I felt that He courted me as He allowed me to experience luxury, prestige, honor as an engineer. But at one point in my life, He let me realize that all these are not permanent. Everything will just pass away, and only His love will remain. Yes, only His love. His love through the Eucharist has given me strength true joy and fulfillment in life, even in times of sorrow and pain. Indeed, He is a God of surprises, and all He needs is for me to surrender my trust.
Religious life had always been my dream when I was a child, but it was fading when I had a boyfriend in college. Although he loved and took care of me well, but deep within, my heart was still longing for something else. Or was it in reality someone else? One time after finishing the Legion of Mary meeting, a Scalabrinian seminarian asked me, "Do you want to respond to us call us religious?" It was his question that inspired my desire to look for an answer. And God's will, when I attended the Mass at the Convent of Handmaids of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the sister brought me to the chapel where Jesus was exposed. While kneeling in prayer, I heard a gentle voice, "I have been waiting for you for so long. Do you want to stay here with me?" There was no word to express my feeling at that moment. After that experience and some other confirmations, I was convinced that I was called to be His forever. I said yes to become His handmaid, where I found the deepest fulfillment of my heart, and I remain in His love.
I grew up seeing my parents very active in our parish, more so that the 7 of us siblings, 5 girls and 2 boys, were also encouraged to become members of different groups and organizations. My family remains to be a seedbed of our vocations, where as little children, good values were truly inculcated in us by our parents. So what then were the obstacles I experienced before entering the convent? By the time I expressed to them of my plan of leaving my teaching profession and enter the handmaids, I received an initial opposition, especially from my parents. They always thought religious life would entail not being able to see me again, not being able to go home. They really wanted me to settle for a work and see me professional just like the rest. Besides, among the 7 of us, I was literally the first to leave home. My elder brother was already in the seminary that time, but monthly would come for his family visit. Then later years, my younger brother also entered to become a priest. My 2 elder sisters were both singles by the time I said yes to Jesus through religious life. That added to the resistance of my family when I can opt to go on living life together with them. They said the family is the first to know, but the last to accept. But in my case, it was because of love for me. Despite the initial opposition, I gave my yes to Jesus. After 5 long years of serious discernment, of accompaniment, of constant prayer and friendship with Him, I finally received the grace to risk everything for Jesus, trusting Him more than being overcome by my fears and doubts. By now, my parents are very happy and our number one supporters of being religious, priest, married, and single. They themselves have become joyful lay vocation promoters even for religious life. Indeed, for Jesus, it is all worth it. As He said in Matthew, "Whoever finds his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for His sake will find it."
Katulad ng karamihan mga madre, hindi ko nakuha ang matamis na oo ng aking mga magulang. Di ba yung buhay na pinapangarap nila para sa akin? Nais nilang makita ang minamahal nilang anak na mamuhay ng normal at simple. Gusto nila akong makita mag-asawa, magkaroon ng pamilya, at mamuhay kami ng sama-sama. Ngunit wala na atang masisimple pa sa araw-araw mong purihin ng Diyos, araw-araw mong tanggapin ang kanyang pagmamahal, at araw-araw mong ibahagi ang pagmamahal na ito sa iba. Kaya hawak-hawak ang matamis na oo ng Diyos. Oo, Jerry, sagot na kita. Sagot ko na ang pamilya mo. Ako ay tumugon. Patuloy na tutugon sa tawag mo.
Parents usually desire only the welfare and the happiness of their children. Since they are not familiar with the life of a religious, they usually do not give at once their consent to their daughter's desire to enter the convent. The same happened to us. After I finished my BS Biology, I asked my parents' permission to enter, but they were concerned of my future in case I would not persevere. So they made as my passport a requirement to enter the convent, a PRC license as physician. And so the groom, Jesus, obliged and made me pass the board exams even without the benefit of a formal review. The Bible verse, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else will just follow," is really true. He called the shots. He will also be the one to take care of everything. All He needs is our yes. My story did not end here. I practiced in the far-flung areas in Mindanao. My parents told me, "If you continue to work in these risky places, you better enter the convent." When the Lord calls, He does not only give the grace to those He called, He also prepares and gives the grace to their parents. In my case, when I entered, that was also the time when the parish construction was done, which helped my parents cope with my absence through their parish involvements. Truly, God provides. You just have to trust Him. As St. Paul says, "I know Him in whom I place my trust."
I came from a very simple family, so having a daughter who is working is a big help for the family to provide the daily needs of each member. This was my biggest struggle before entering the religious life. Paano na ang pamilya ko? I was in this stage when I really felt the urgent call of God for me, but I could not let go of the responsibility I put on to myself. But the Lord showed me the way how to overcome this. During my discernment retreat, I was really battling between giving my yes to God wholeheartedly and staying to continue to work for my family. But I remember when I prayed about it, the Lord told me as I was having a deep conversation with Him, "If you love your family, I love them more. I will take care of them. You are not the Messiah, Mitch. I am." These words coming from the Lord had given me hope, and I was given the grace to surrender everything to Him. After doing so, that day, I felt great peace within me, and I was able to say yes to God wholeheartedly, with the assurance that He will take care of my family. I can attest that the Lord has always been true to His promises. He has worked wonders in my family in such a way that they themselves have recognized how the Lord has been working for them, has been providing for them. I remember my mother telling me, "Mas magaan ang buhay ngayon. Laging may dumarating na biyaya. Di kami nauubusan." The Lord always takes care of my family. In fact, there was never a time that He abandoned them. Instead, He has blessed them abundantly as He promised.
Bakit ACI? Kasi I feel at home here and I am happy. Bago ko pinili ang ACI, naniniwala ako na pinili ako ng Diyos para sa ACI even before the world began, even before I was in my mother's womb. Bakit ACI? Kasi swak yung karisma ng ACI at sa aking personal na karisma din. Nagbibigay saya sa akin ang banal na Eucharistia, si Jesus sa banal na Eucharistia, ang magsimba araw-araw, ang mag-receive ng banal na communion araw-araw. At isa akong teacher, masaya ako na nagtuturo sa mga bata, lalong-lalo na ang Christian living. At ang karisma ng ACI ay ang reparation to the heart of Jesus that is expressed in two folds. Ito ay ang adoration to the Blessed Sacrament at evangelizing education. Naalala ko ang isang quotation na ibinahagi sa amin ng Pansy ay ang vocation is the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Para sa akin, yung karisma ko at karisma ng ACI ay nagtugma. Kaya masaya ako dito at masaya ako sa aking ginagawa. Kahit may mga kahirapan, kasi hindi rin madali na maging isang ACI sister. Pero I am happy and at home here. Kaya ACI.
The three reasons why I choose the ACI sister are the following. First reason, start with letter A. A stands for aspiration. I felt a great aspiration to serve God through evangelizing education. This deep desire impelled me to act with courage and certainty. So I set my journey from the north to the south of Vietnam to meet the ACI sisters. The second reason is that with letter C. C stands for confirmation. The first moment when I spent time with the Lord in adoration at the ACI community of Suy Tiên in Vietnam, I felt so at peace and my heart was so at home. I felt confirmed that God was really inviting me to come see and stay with the ACI sisters. The third reason starts with letter I. I stands for integration. Now as an ACI sisters, I love all aspects of a hermit's life, living spirituality of Saint Ignatius, following the footsteps of Saint Raphael and Mary, being passionate for mission, and enjoying the daily encounter with the Lord in adoration and in the Eucharistic celebration with music and songs.
Why I chose to become an ACI sister? First, when I was in high school, my favorite motto is Ora et Labora, pray and work. When I was a child, until I became a member of the Neo-Catechumenal Way group, the Eucharist became a significant part of my life. Third, my family has taught me the values of love and sharing and to be missionary in spirit. These three became one when I found the Handmaids of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, because we are contemplative in action, pray and work, centered in the Eucharist, and we are missionary in words and in deeds wherever we are sent here in the Philippines or abroad. As a handmaid, I feel so blessed that I chose to respond to God's call in the ACI way of life.
When I met the ACI sisters, I already had this growing feeling of restlessness, of a desire to follow Christ, to do a mission which glorifies Him, to make people know and love Jesus and Mary, basically to mirror God's love for His people. Back then, I didn't have a clear picture of where I should go and what I should do. My feeling of restlessness grew even more into a loud voice. And then during the life orientation retreat, I found myself asking for the same craziness He gave His saints. The inner voice of restlessness grew even more louder at that time until I could hear Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament speaking to me through my listening heart in clear words. He said, "Why won't you be crazy now?" At that moment, I knew I should say yes to Him. It has become clear to me that I wanted to embrace the reparative mission of the Handmaids of the Sacred Heart, the simplicity of their living, the adoration to the Blessed Sacrament, and the Ignatian spirituality. And when I said yes to the Lord, the loud voice of restlessness was silenced, and I was consoled with peace.
At this time, I am the sister of vow of the Handmaids of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. There are many people ask me that why I would choose to become an ACI sister instead of choosing to be a sister in another congregation. I would like to answer that I chose to become a handmaid of the Sacred Heart of Jesus because I love the charism of our congregation, that is preparation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus through adoration and education. At the first time when I visited our sister, I was so attracted with the Sacrament Expo in the chapel, and I was invited to meet adoration. And from that moment, I love to meet adoration and to be the adorer of the Lord, as well as to bring God to others.
So why ACI? I learned about ACI through a friend, and I felt that instant connection with the sisters when I learned that they are living the spirituality of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who is my personal role model. And that connection grew deeper when I witnessed how they actually encounter Jesus in their day-to-day life. They encounter Him in the Eucharist, in their daily masses, and their personal adoration. And it's like a date with Jesus. I think this is the reason why most of the handmaids stay in love and continuously fall in love with Jesus. Second, they encounter Him in the broken world. Aware of their own brokenness, they proclaim and remind us, especially the poor, of the reparative love of God. That God cares for us, that God gives us hope, and God is willing to help us if we are just going to allow Him. So why ACI? It's because I want to live just like them, to be contemplative in action, to glorify and praise God through prayers and through concrete actions.
oras hatod sa Indokang. Plemex. Pag may ubo o hika, Plemex agad. Basta lagundi, Plemex.
Ferrex Vitamin B1, B6, B12. Ferrexited, ang simpleng pampakilig, nor sinigang.
Liver Aid Silimarine Capsule. Liver Aid. It's liver or lover, boys.
Pagbibili ng gamot, dapat subok, dapat trusted, dapat dekalidad. Alagang Unilab yan, alagang Unilab yan, alagang Unilab yan.
Mula kalidad ng gamot at vitamins ng Unilab at RightMed hanggang pampaganda ng UL Skin Sciences, alagang Unilab yan.
Ubo, plemang nakabara, hirap sa paghinga, dapat may dalang ginhawa. Kaya lagi kong bitbit, Plemex Forte Capsule. Ang Plemex Forte Capsule ay gawa sa halamang lagundi. Ginhawa sa ubo at hika. Magaan dalhin, madaling inumin. Plemex Forte Capsule. Basta lagundi, Plemex. Vitex Lagundo L is the generic name of Plemex Forte. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Tanggal ang plema, tigil ang ubo. Maluwag ang paghinga sa Plemex Forte. Basta lagundi, Plemex! Ang Plemex Forte Lagundi Capsule ay mabibili sa pangunahing butika o drugstore na malapit sa inyo.
Adrian Salceda, Adrian Salceda. Padagos ang pagtabang niya sa sato padabata. Yan ang satong alkalde sa banwaan ni Polanggi. Taon-taon kadako lang mga naginibuhan niya. Idolo padabata si Adrian Salceda. Tunay na aki kang tercer distrito. Nonoy kap Adrian sa tuyang idolo. Adrian Salceda, padabat siya kan masa. Alkalde kan Polanggi, mayor nonoy kap ikana. Adrian Salceda, pag-asenso na matita. Banuan kan Polanggi, kay mayor nonoy kap.
7 healthy habits para sa high blood, hypertension, alta presyon, at kung ano-ano pa. Iba't iba man ang tawag, ito ay kayang-kayang makontrol sa tulong ng trio kontra sa anumang sakit. Regular na ehersisyo, tamang nutrisyon, at say no to bisyo. Regular din na kumonsulta sa ating primary care providers para malaman ang angkop na gamutan depende sa inyong risk factors. Para iwas alta presyon, tamang nutrisyon, ehersisyo, at medikasyon ang solusyon. Isang paalala mula sa inyong DOH Bicol Center for Health Development.
A tidy home is essential for various health benefits. Metro Supermarket is showcasing its home care products in our Tidy Living promo from September 2 to October 1. Get up to 30% off on great selection of home care products, plus free deliveries with purchase. Exclusive treat to all MRC members. Get a free gift certificate with purchase. This promo is available from Thursday to Sunday only. See poster mechanics for details. Per DTI Fair Trade Permit number FTEB 201093 series of 2024.
Kapag nagkakaedad na, mas importante ang proper lifestyle.
Jogging tayo pa!
Sige nak! Maliwanag ang benepisyo ng tamang pagkain at ehersisyo. Kasama pa ang pag-inom ng Optin. May nutrients ng lutein, vitamin C, E at zinc. Parte na ng aking daily regimen.
Ganda talaga ng view dito pa.
Kitang-kita. Mahalagang paalala, ang Optin ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamitin panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit. Labanan ang maagang panlalabo ng paningin sa tulong ng Optin. Kitang-kita ang kalusugan. Mabibili sa mga leading drugstores nationwide.
Angat ang lahat, apobado na yan. Sa pag-uswag kita, mag-iribahan. Makatao, makadiyos, matinabang. Yan si Giselle Salceda, mga tugang. Sa pangmalalauman sa pagservisyo. Programang salutasin pang turismo. Programa kang test, asin mga ayuda. Infrastruktura, tabang sa paraoma. Estudyante para siya ay mahuhudyan. Mga senior citizens siya masasarigan. Makusog na boses kang kabataan. Si Giselle Salceda, kami nagtatabang. Siya ang leader na kaipuhan ka. Handang magsilbi malalauman pa. Giselle Salceda, kaibahan ta. Angat ang lahat ng kahiman.
Angat ang lahat ng bayan. Serbisyong Giselle Salceda ang kailangan.
Hi, kumusta? Ako si Sister Feda, ACI.
Bakit hindi ako nakahabit? Kasi nandito ako ngayon sa Spain para sa aming tertianship. Ito yung formation bago kami mag-final professional vows. Dito sa Europa, ang mga ACI sisters ay hindi nakahabit. Pagdating sa pagpili ng bokasyon, pagmamadre o pagpapari, o sa kahit anong klaseng bokasyon na desire ng puso, for sure, there are a lot of ifs, buts, questions like, paano na lang? Ano kayang mayayari sa family ko? Paano na dreams ko? Career, love life. Lahat ng questions sa buhay na tanong ko na. Pero isa lang ang sagot. Yan ang faithful and loving God. I came from a very small family. I have 2 brothers. My kuya, who is already in heaven, and ang bunso, na special, and my mom, the most beautiful mother in the world. That's what makes up my family, like the Holy Family of Nazareth. Maraming struggles ang pinagdaanan at pinagdadaanan pa hanggang ngayon. Pero, pag ang Diyos na ang tumawag, walang hindi pwedeng gawin, walang hindi pwedeng malampasan. When you respond, surely He will take care of all the rest. God's ways are amazing. In the power of prayer, everything shall be well. In the adoration, there is a miracle. Walang nagsasalita, walang naririnig, pero tiyak nandyan si Jesus, nakikinig, nagmamahal. You know what? I heard the call to religious life, specifically as a handmaid of the Sacred Heart of Jesus in the adoration. And in this special moment, it was cherished, it was nourished by the love of God, by the fidelity of God. And this is a miracle, this is a grace. my sister is not only missioned to pray and stay inside the convent all the time, but we also use our talents for evangelization and collaborating in the projects and activities of the church, in the parishes, and in the dioceses. Example, concerts like this. also collaborate with the lay people in our apostolates for evangelization.
Alright. Dahil dyan,
pakinggan natin ang susunod na
third song.
obra.
What's your third song, Jetro?
I made this for the
ACI.
ACI.
Wow.
It has something to do with Sacred Heart ba?
It's based on the life of Santa Rafaela.
Oh, okay.
Their foundress. Yeah. So the title is Anchila because ACI means Anchila
Right.
Cornis Jesus.
Right.
I am a handmaid of God, a martyr who did not shed blood, obscured and made useless. I offer them kindness. I am a handmaid of God. Love of God is divine. It's much sweeter than wine. And if all things must depart, I'll remain in His heart. My God loves me forever, and I love Him forever.
Alright, that's a beautiful song. Performed by Sister Feda from the ACI Sisters. What's the title again?
Anchila.
Anchila. Oh,
Anchila is Latin for handmaid.
handmade.
Technically, slave.
So kung nanonood ng mga ACI Sisters, hello po. Kilala ko yung mga taga-ACI.
You, kailan ka sasagot? See you.
According to Pope Francis, vocations aren't the result of planning, but an encounter with God that changes your life. Yes, this is very true. Like everybody else, at my young age, I had my plans, my dreams in life. Like pursuing a higher degree, a career, establishing a school, and planning to have my own family. I started the journey of realizing these plans. So while studying every summer, I ran a small school in our community. And right after graduation, I pursued my master's degree. I was engaged in 1988 and seriously planned to get married in 1995. Along the journey, I experienced disturbances and turmoil that led me to a deeper discernment where God spoke to me clearly and showed me another path, a detour in life. I responded to his call and entered religious life in 1992 and had my first professional vows in 1995, my wedding day in the religious life. It's amazing, no? It was my plan to get married in that year. I remembered an incident. I accidentally met my co-teacher and told me enthusiastically about her achievements, promotions, and at the end, she told me, "Sayang, you should have the same promotions that I have now." I smiled and answered back, "I am happy where I am now, no regrets." Even my family and friends told me, "Sayang, you abandoned your profession. You abandoned your teaching career." I realized then that I never abandoned my teaching vocation. It is where God called me and used it for His greater glory, not mine, for the service of many, not only for few. He conferred me experiencing the joy of being His servants, counting everything as grace, not a waste. So as I embrace the challenges and religious life, I am grateful of God's grace allowing me to surrender to His will. It's true that if we surrender to His will, God's will is the best. And I'm happy that I responded, because God is a faithful God. He is faithful to His promise, the promise of forever.
I believe that everything that comes from God is a gift meant for all of us. Gifts are precious and thus need to be treasured and shared for the greater glory of God. I thank the Lord for this wonderful gift of my vocation to the religious life, which I consider as a gift. The monthly search in recollections helped me to discern the state of life God wanted for me, and the charism of the ACI congregation, vis-a-vis the interest and desire of my heart to give my life for the church. I found that my heart's desire and that of God are one and the same. That is for the mission of reparation to the heart of Jesus through evangelizing education. My yes to surrender my life to God completely by being an ACI sister has changed my lifestyle, helping me to be detached from vanities in order to be attached to Jesus Christ alone. Jesus Eucharist continues to sustain me for the past 20 years in the congregation. The daily Eucharistic celebration, together with the adoration before the Blessed Sacrament, has deepened my relationship with God and has given me strength to share in His mission joyfully. I considered that passing the LET board exam, the licensure examination for teachers, is a gift from God. As a teacher, I have the privilege to share the love of God and the Eucharistic values to our little children and the preschool, forming their hearts, young as they are. As the school directress, I have the opportunity to reach out to the parents, caregivers, and especially to our dear teaching and non-teaching staff, accompanying and establishing good relationships with them as our lay partners in mission for the school. As my teacher in the graduate school said, teaching is not only a profession, but also a vocation. The love of God is truly amazing. All is grace.
Camille Prats Yambaw po. Yan sila Nala at Nolan. Nagkakatuwaan.
Mami, wala na ko ubo.
Good. And